Hey, welcome back to Visibility Vixen, episode 4.
Welcome to the Visibility Vixen podcast, where we create space to grow our brand with intention and clarity, one episode at a time. Join us as we explore the many aspects of entrepreneurship, start loving the journey instead of the destination, and begin building a legacy that lasts. Here's your host, Michelle Lewis.
Hello, ladies. I am hoping that this podcast is coming to you on a beautiful day, a productive day, and that you are feeling totally pumped up to move forward in your business. I'm actually recording this at Disneyland. I decided to have a little bit of change in scenery today, so it'll be interesting to see the difference in the audio quality because I am doing it from my headphones. So if you hear a little bit of music, a little bit of random squawking, that's because I am not in the soundproofness of my office. I am out in public. So anyway, I today just kind of wanted to come to you one-on-one because I think it's really important to, yes, you're listening to interviews, yes, you're listening to my family, but also we need some one-on-one time. And today I really wanted to talk about creativity. It's really hard to be creative consistently, and we are usually told that we need to really plan out when we write our content. And sometimes that can easily be done because we have a lot of ideas, but sometimes, especially when we've kind of plateaued, it's harder and harder to figure out what am I going to say next? What am I going to do? What's my next newsletter? What's my next blog? What's my next video? And we can start to feel stuck, and that causes us to atrophy. So instead, we do nothing. So if you're dealing with that, today's podcast is for you, my darling. And before I dive into it, I just wanted to thank you so much for being here, for taking the time to listen to this podcast. I know that there are so many out there, so the fact that you trust and like me and enjoy spending time together as much as I do is just wonderful. So I really appreciate you. Thank you for those of you that have written some wonderful reviews. That has meant so much to me, and I love that because it actually makes this podcast more visible. It helps it get into the new and noteworthy and stay there for 8 weeks so that more and more ladypreneurs can find this. So if you haven't already, I would be honored if you would leave me a review or a shout out. Would love to talk to you or connect with you. So let's dive into what to do when we are feeling stuck in our content creation. And the number one thing I want to encourage you to do is to stop. I want you to look at your calendar, and some days I usually try to create content on a Monday or a Tuesday, but if you're looking at your calendar and you have a lot of stuff going on, chances are you are not going to have time to have, step out of your space to actually create content. So look at your calendar every week and decide on one day where you're just going to devote 2 to 4 hours to just kind of figure out where you're at, what you're feeling, and what you would like to bring to your tribe that week, that month. I try to plan out about 2 to 3 blogs, and maybe like today I was planning out some new products I was going to do. So instead of being like, I'm going to sit down and go over the whole entire scope, I break it down into chunks. So today I'm like, okay, I really want to work on the 3 main products that I'm going to have on the front page of my website, since I'm going to be doing a website redesign. So make it small so that it's actionable, and that way your 2 to 4 hours of creative space are completely dedicated to accomplishing that one task. I know a lot of us struggle with completing, and that's so normal, so don't feel weird, but that's because it isn't broken down and it isn't planned. So sit down at the beginning of the week, choose your day, cut out that slot of time, and have it be the first thing you do in the day. So don't be doing like meeting, phone call, lunch, and then trying to do your creative time. No, make sure that it is either at the first part of your day or it's the only thing you're doing that day, because otherwise we waste our creativity in those different meetings or calls, and by the time that we sit down to do it for ourselves and our business, we are out of ideas. So that would be my first tip. My second tip is to change your surroundings. Just like you can hear, there's an airplane flying overhead. I decided today I wanted to create some content for my products. My Disneyland pass is going to expire in 2 weeks, so I decided I'm just going to go down to Disneyland. So I came into California Adventure. I sat down at that little wine area. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but there's a little trattoria, and it's this little restaurant which is really beautiful, and it looks kind of across the park, and you can just sit, and I had a nice tea and I got my lunch and I just sat there and I created. And it was so much fun because you're in a new environment. You kind of have that white noise of everyone talking in the background. You don't have any obligations because you're not really close to your house, and I could just take that time for myself. And then afterwards I hopped on Little Mermaid, I hopped on what is that? The Cars ride. And I'm just going to spend some time kind of walking around in my own thoughts. So of course you don't have to go to Disneyland every time you want to create content for yourself, but it is always great to change your scenery. So local coffee shop, go to a park, anything that you can do to get out of your normal environment, because we have to remember that matter doesn't change matter. So you can't really do the same amount of creativity, at least I can't, in my office where I'm constantly every day running my business as I can when I step out and get a new surrounding. And that's where we really get creative ideas. And of course, the best place that you can go is out into nature. It has a higher frequency, a higher vibration, and it helps us to really fill ourselves back up. And you need to be filled up in order to create. A lot of us suffer from burnout or inability to complete our projects because we're not filling up. So really important that you step out of your current environment and just raise your frequency, do something new. The best way to create new neurons, meaning changing old patterns, is by changing your environment. So that's what I wanted to do today. I wanted to just talk a little bit about some easy ways that we can step out of our current environment and start creating more stuff for our business, because that's what it's all about. And people, especially our ideal clients, are going to recognize when we're taking that time for ourselves, because we're creating amazing products, right? And I am going to sign off because I have had so many planes go overhead, and I have like the monorail going right over me, so I know that that's probably super annoying. So I apologize for that, but hopefully you've enjoyed being in a new environment with me. I think I'm gonna go and ride some of the rides that my husband doesn't like over in Disneyland, like what's it called? Small World and Alice in Wonderland and that kind of stuff, just to be silly and enjoy my time. It is very humid, so I'll probably be ducking into hotels the entire time to cool down. But if you haven't yet, it's a great idea to hop onto the email list so that you can get all these kinds of different tips about being more visible. So feel free to connect with me at ladypreneurlegacy.com. I'm so excited this week for you to have a new strategy to create better and better and better content. And please let me know what you create. I would love to hear about it. Really easy to find me on Facebook, and you can just put in Michelle Lewis, and you can reach out to me on Instagram at myMichelleLewis. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Sending you lots and lots of love here from Disneyland. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening in today to the Visibility Vixen podcast. Subscribe now and share with a fellow Vixen who wants to start building their visibility. For more fire in your life and brand, visit visibilityvixen.com.